I can only imagine how many of you out there are faced with opportunities and can't even see them. They're not even within your own realm. And by not being able to see them, you're not getting what you want. You're not moving forward, and you're not being who you want to be in your own life. Does this sound like you? Okay, let's have a talk about that then, shall we? Hi, my name is Carol Serby, and I'm with the Omineca Healing Institute, where we're releasing trauma and disease triggered by repressed emotion. Thank you very much for joining me here today on another episode of Following Your Map, where we're revolutionizing the way you understand how your body is speaking to you. So thank you so much for joining me. So this week, we're talking about flourish and development. We're talking about this for the whole month. And what I specifically want to talk about today is why we don't necessarily even see opportunities that are right in front of us, that are absolutely right in front of us. So today we want to talk about opening your mind to all paths that are available to you. Because I guarantee there are paths available to you that, because of your limiting beliefs, because of your archetypal and ancestral and generational systems, because of what you feel as though you deserve, you just can't see them. Okay, so we can dig into some of that stuff in therapy sessions. Absolutely, blast them out of the way, move them out of the way, change them up. Some really cool work. But what can you do? What can you do for yourself at home right now? So when you're wanting to make a change, now whether it's a personal change internally, or whether it's a work change or a change in lifestyle, any kind of change, it doesn't matter. You need to evaluate the opportunities. Evaluate the opportunities. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I just said, well, sometimes you just don't see the opportunities, right? Well, that's true. But what about the opportunities you do see? Okay. What is it about those opportunities that you do see? And we'll get into this in a minute, but is there someone that's come into your life that can help you with that, either paid or not, right? You can decide your value. You can decide your worth if you're willing to pay for help to move forward. Some people aren't, because they feel as though the problem isn't worth the amount that they would have to pay in order to move past it. Some people are, okay? So it all has everything to do with where you are. But one thing you can start to do, and I talk about this a lot, is start to really feel into any opportunities that you do see. Because when you're wanting to move forward, the last thing you want to do is spend the time and energy moving, creating a lateral move, so a sideways move, okay? You want to move forward. So whatever that forward is towards, that's for you to decide. The information is still the same. We don't want to make a lateral move. So when you're evaluating the opportunities, I really want you to start to check in on how you feel about them. Does it feel good? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel new? Does it feel like you're going to have to stretch yourself a little bit to manage and maintain it, okay? And generally, this takes a little bit of time, okay? So whether you set aside an hour for yourself for each evaluation that you're going to do, or maybe it's, if you're moving out of country, maybe it's a little bit longer. So again, that's entirely up to you. And the next thing I want you to notice is I want you to notice when you're in this process of trying to flourish and trying to develop and trying to evaluate, I want you to notice what's trying to show itself to you. Now, what do I mean by that? So whenever you talk metaphysics, okay, we always talk about symbols. And if you ever watch someone like, I think, the Long Island Medium, and she always scribbles in her little book, and she says, well, when I see this, this is what it means, right? That's what I'm talking about, is symbols. So what is your symbol for whatever the opportunity is? So let me give you an example. So if I said to you, if you saw a star, you know, a star, we all know what stars look like. If you saw a star, what would that mean to you? Now, some people might say, well, a star represents a star in the sky. Okay, that's not wrong, right? Some people might say, well, a star represents the star on the top of your paper when you get it back from your teacher, right? That's not wrong either. And some people might say that it's a star on the star's door in a theatrical production, or, you know, whatever. No, that's not wrong either. So it's important when you start, when starting to evaluate these things, and you're starting to see symbols, you're starting to see the same thing. Start to evaluate what that symbol means to you, what that star means to you. We could do the same thing with apple. Okay, apple. Same thing. Apple could be something that you eat, right? So maybe it represents hunger to you. Apple, again, going back to the school, it used to be a tradition that the students would give the teacher an apple, right? A sign of respect and a sign of just wanting to give, right? Maybe that's what it means to you. Okay, so you know, we can look at apple. What does apple mean to you? So if you start seeing all these apples, you know, what is that trying to tell you? If you start trying to see all these stars, what is that trying to tell you? So when you're in this evaluation of opportunities, know what your symbol dictionary says. And if you don't know, start to feel into it. Start to really feel, what does that star mean to me? Okay. And then the other thing we're always looking for when we're looking to evaluate anything that's happening in our life is we always look for sets of 3, right? 3 things that get in our way. 3 things that come up that would support us in taking that leap or making that move, right? The 3 things getting in our way obviously would be maybe to steer clear. So say you're going to a job interview and they phone you, you know, we want to interview you. You phone them back. You've written down the wrong phone number, right? You go ahead, you find the phone number. You get the interview set up. You're driving to the interview. Your car breaks down or you get a flat tire, right? There's 2 things that have gotten in your way to stop you from going to that interview, stop you from accessing that interview. So I can't think of what a third would be, but if there was a third thing, I would really reevaluate my desire to push to make that happen. Okay. So we always want, and then on the opposite side, you want to look for events that are occurring that are propelling you easily and effortlessly towards what it is you want, because that's the flow you want to stay in, right? And then the other thing you need to do is you need to really evaluate your good and the bad feelings that you're having when you're evaluating these opportunities. Now, the good things, again, they put you in the flow and they move you towards, and that's really great. But the bad things can be, you know, if it's not your events in 3s trying to actually physically stop you, it could be internally. So it could be your feelings. It could be your limiting decisions. It could be things that happen in the ancestral lines. It could be beliefs that you had created before you were 7 years old that are getting in your way. Your feeling of not deserving, your feeling of you're not good enough, your feeling of I'm marginal, your feeling of I don't measure up. I can't go after that because I don't measure up. I can't go after that because who am I to, right? So what I encourage you to do when you're searching in these feelings is to journal. And I know a lot of you are going, journal, yuck, right? But the one thing is I'm not saying journal every day, just journal when these feelings come up, Because if you don't have someone to talk to that has a trained ear for them, what you can do is you can journal, right? Get it all out. Get it all out. Now, whether you keep it or not. Hi, Katie. Oh, thank you, Katie. I love doing the videos too. And I'm going to talk about these videos a little bit in a couple more minutes. So just keep journaling. And then what you need to do is just set it aside and come back to it. Now, when you come back to it, I want you to disassociate from it. I want you to read it as if you're reading something a friend wrote. Right? And I don't want you to pick out any individual ideas and work on those, but the entire journal, the entire writing for that day, the entire writing around that idea, and look at it and come up with 2 or 3 words that describe the emotions and the events that are happening in that, excuse me, but vomit of feelings and emotions and words, right? Because sometimes when we're right in the middle of it, we can't actually come up with the words, but we're coming up with all these feelings and senses and emotions and yada, yada, yada. So if you can get those all written down, go away, go do something else, go to a movie, go for a walk, whatever, come back and look at it from as if your friend wrote it, and look at it and what's the overall. And I guarantee you're going to come up with again, a limiting decision, okay, a belief about yourself that probably isn't true. You're going to start to see some ancestral patterning or some generational patterning, okay? And the good thing is once you start to see this, you start to recognize it in your own behavior, you can now start to make changes. Or you can come to me and we'll just get rid of it, okay? So what I want you to really start doing is really start stretching your mind to what is possible. Okay, there's a lot of us out there, you know, we go, and we're doing really good, and then all of a sudden we feel stuck. Okay, so these are some processes that you can use to really get past that stuckness. You know, you can phone me, we can set up some sessions, and we can go that way. Or you can really start to try and do some of this work on your own and start to realize on your own. But in doing so, you have to be really open to what's coming to you, because I guarantee you, you're going to start to see some links. You're going to start to see some links back to some old stuff. And I'll give you an example. So there was this one gentleman, he had a problem with money. He couldn't hold on to it. He had a decent job, but he just couldn't hold on to money. There always seemed to be something come up that cost him a lot of money, right? And he was frustrated. He was mad. He's like, what the hell is my problem? So in past life regression, we took him back and we found a point in time where he had overheard an argument. His parents were arguing, and guess what they were arguing about? Right? Money. And so his limiting decision became that money causes arguments between 2 people that love each other. So he decided at that point in time to not hold on to any money. Therefore, there's no arguments, right? In our simplistic beliefs and in our own desire to keep ourselves safe, at 4 or 5 years old, however old he was, that made sense to him. But unfortunately, that making sense to him at 4 or 5 years old doesn't really translate to now when you're 40 and you're trying to save for retirement or a holiday or whatever, right? Now, the really funny thing, well, not funny, the really sad thing about this particular example is when we looked deeper into it, his mother was actually watching a television program. It wasn't his mom and his dad fighting at all. His mother was watching a television program. So, and I just want to have a little side note here. So, he created this limiting decision, this way of behaving based on a television program. Because at the age he decided it, he wasn't old enough, didn't realize at the time that's what it was. Right? What was the side note that I was going to say? I forget, but it'll come back to me. So, So all of these limiting decisions, all of these things that we have designed to keep our bodies safe, they don't work for us when we're older. They get in our way. They make us feel stuck. They're blocks, right? We hear this language all the time. I don't know what to do next. I can't see where to go. I can't feel where to go. I don't know what to do next. You know, when you have a block like that, your body, to keep you safe, you're moving towards it, and you're moving towards it, and all of a sudden your body will go, and it'll give you a left turn, right? Hard left to avoid that. Well, when you get derailed, right? You can't move through because you're blocked. You got to go. You got to go sideways. You got to go left. You got to go right. Got to go up. Got to go down, right? Oh, that side note. So when it comes to this kind of work, it doesn't matter where the thought came from, where the belief came from. So some of you may or may not believe in past life. I personally do, but maybe it's a past memory, okay? Maybe it's just an experience like this man had, right? That has created a huge impact in your life. Huge impact in your life. So it doesn't matter whether you believe in past life or not. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter whether you believe in the more esoterical aspects of life or not. It doesn't matter to me. The fact of the matter is that there was something that happened that created this, and they are traumas. You hear me talking about traumas all the time. This is just a smaller trauma. It's not war-torn trauma. This is just a smaller trauma. This is something that we've locked away, we've learned, and we just don't know how to get through, right? So let's work on starting to rip open those containers of trauma. So if you want more information on how this kind of stuff works, more information on healing techniques, inspiration, understanding how your body is speaking to you, go to my website, ominecahealing.ca. You can sign up for our newsletters there, or you can sign up for a clarity call with me if you have any questions about how this stuff is actually playing out in your life. Let's talk about you specifically, okay? Sign up for a clarity call. They're free, okay? No big deal. And we'll spend about half an hour, you know, and if I have time, we'll spend more time. And we'll talk about how this stuff is impacting you. And it's our purpose here to support you in your clarity and support you in your courage and exploring your intuitive listening, so that and exploring that mastery that we all have. We just don't really know that we have. So that's my purpose here, is to help you explore that mastery that's already in your own body, so that you can live full throttle and help others to live the same. Okay, you guys have a super day, and I'll see you again next week. Okay, thanks. Bye.